Emissaries of peace. Despite their preparations for war, the celestial forces continued to hold out hope for a peaceful resolution. They dispatched emissaries of peace to negotiate with Malthrakar and Beltharion, offering them one final chance to lay down their arms and return to the path of righteousness before it was too late. The brink of war. As tensions mounted and the celestial and infernal powers stood poised on the brink of war, the mortal realm held its breath, teetering on the edge of oblivion. As the celestial emissaries ventured into the depths of hell, their intentions pure and their hopes set on brokering peace, they were met not with open arms but with suspicion and hostility from the rulers, Malthrakar and Beltharion. Consumed by their desire for autonomy and disdainful of any attempts at diplomacy that they perceived as an affront to their sovereignty, the rulers saw the emissaries' presence as a threat to their independence. A fatal misunderstanding. Misinterpreting the emissaries' gestures of peace as a veiled attempt to exert control over them, Malthrakar and Beltharion reacted with paranoia and aggression, viewing the celestial representatives as agents of the celestial powers seeking to impose their will upon them once more. Blinded by their pride and resentment, they saw no other course of action but to eliminate the emissaries and assert their dominance over their realm. Betrayal in the depths of hell. As the emissaries extended their olive branch of peace, they were met with treachery and betrayal from the rulers and their minions. Ambushed by the very beings they had hoped to negotiate with, the celestial emissaries found themselves ensnared in a web of deceit and violence, their trust shattered and their lives endangered by the infernal forces they had sought to reason with. Fury unleashed. Driven by their disdain for the celestial powers and their desire to break free from the perceived shackles of divine influence, Malthrakar and Beltharion unleashed their minions upon the celestial emissaries with savage fury. The celestial representatives, caught off guard by the sudden onslaught, fought valiantly to defend themselves but were ultimately overwhelmed by the sheer ferocity of the assault. A dark turning point. The deaths of the celestial emissaries marked a dark turning point in the celestial-infernal relations, shattering any hopes of reconciliation and plunging the two realms into a state of open hostility. With the fragile threads of peace torn asunder by the ruler's betrayal, the celestial powers were left with no choice but to prepare for the inevitable conflict that loomed on the horizon. Echoes of tragedy. As news of the emissaries' deaths reverberated through the celestial realms, a tragedy born from misunderstanding and mistrust, where the actions of proudful beings had set the stage for an explosive clash between light and darkness, good and evil. In the face of such darkness, the celestial powers could only steel themselves for the trials to come, knowing that the road ahead would be fraught with peril and uncertainty. With the ominous warning of war echoing through the celestial realms, the celestial powers wasted no time in preparing for the impending conflict with the infernal forces of Malthrakar and Beltharion. Aware of the dire stakes and the formidable foes they would face, they marshaled their forces and enacted a series of strategic measures to bolster their defenses and strengthen their resolve. Gathering of celestial armies. In the celestial realm, the call to arms was made, summoning angels and divine warriors from across the heavens to stand against the threat. Legions of celestial beings clad in shimmering armor assembled, their weapons gleaming with purpose as they prepared to defend the realm from the encroaching darkness.